so much that it feels like a buzzword, but it is far away from it. Climate change is real and a serious issue. But isn't the climate always changing? What exactly is climate change? And why should we care? Well, the Earth's climate has changed throughout history due to small variation in the Earth's orbit. However, 97% of climate scientists agree that this tendency of increase in temperature are not caused by the Earth's orbit, but rather caused likely by human activities. That means you, me, us, everyone in the whole world. So, with this, what are the signs of climate change? First is global warming. So, is global warming experienced here in the Philippines? In a study by Pag-asa, yes, we are currently experiencing global warming today.
Global warming is the increase of mean temperature or the average of maximum and minimum temperatures during a given period. In the year 1979, it was observed that there was an increase in mean temperature in the Philippines, indicating that there is sudden change in temperature.
Due to global warming, it has consequences on our oceans. As you see, the extra water that once our glaciers cause sea levels to rise spills to oceans, flooding coastal regions. An example of this is the R6 compound in Nevada City, where its 8-hectare properties that is one of the largest textile manufacturers in the Philippines. Today, the compound is submerged in water, not due to floods but high tides. And one of the mode of transportations of these people are riding by boats.
Warmer temperatures also make weather more extreme. This means not only more intense major storms, floods, typhoons will occur, but also longer and more frequent droughts. An example of this major typhoon is the Typhoon Yolanda back in the year 2013, wherein it resulted to at least 6,000 fatalities after the event. Due to the change in climate, it affects the food we produce in the Philippines. An example of this is our fisheries. There's this phenomenon called coral bleaching that harms the fishes and other underwater resources. Since it harms the fishes, it affects the marine productivity or the productivity of our local fishermen in the Philippines. Due to the hot environment, the corals are exposed.
In addition to all these problems, climate change can directly affect a person's physical health. In urbanized areas, the warmer atmosphere creates an environment that traps and increases the amount of smog. This is because smog contains ozone particles which increase rapidly at higher temperatures. Exposure to these can cause asthma, heart disease, and lung cancer.
The report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, dated way back on 2014, contains the sentences, issues of equity, justice, and fairness arise with respect to mitigation and adaptation, and many areas of climate policy making involve value, judgments, and ethical considerations. These are obvious remarks. Each government has officially recognized the need to pay attention to moral consideration in its policy making. It is up to moral philosophers to help governments make the moral judgments they recognize they need to make. Responding to climate change is a hugely complex challenge, and it requires guidance from philosophy if it is to be done well. What is the right way to cope up with the great uncertainty of our scientific predictions? Climate change creates a small chance that humanity will become extinct, or that the human population will crash to much smaller numbers. How far should these catastrophic possibilities influence our decisions? Should the interests of nature be set against the interests of human beings? These and many other questions raised by climate change fall within the broad domain of philosophical theories of value and theories of justice. Climate change calls for innovative philosophical work.
Climate change is affecting all of us right now, not only in the Philippines, but the whole world. And we need to do something about it. We need to think of ways on how we can stop this and make our world a better place for the future generations. It is not too late to limit some of the worst effects of climate change. Since climate change is a global problem, the solution will require both a globally coordinated response and local efforts on every region. There are ways on how we can contribute on preventing climate change.
reduce the amount of carbon dioxide produced by our homes and offices by moving to zero carbon buildings which do not use any carbon for heating, lighting, cooling, or electricity. They can manage this by becoming more energy efficient and using renewable energy sources such as solar powered systems wherein it does not release CO2.
For 2, you can also fight climate change simply by changing your lifestyle. You can significantly lower greenhouse gas emissions by eating less meat and choosing local foods when possible and buying food with less packaging.
3. Join different programs related to conserving our environment. We get tree planting activities.
Vehicles today also produces significant amounts of emission. Therefore, eco-friendly vehicles should be used in our transportation systems such as electric vehicles. 5th, reduce water wastes. Saving water reduces air pollution.
6. Reduce your plastic waste and practice using things made from recyclable materials. This can be done by changing to reusable water containers, from plastic bottle drinks, using non-plastic straws, and proper segregation of waste.
And last but not the least, spread your knowledge and concerns about climate change with others. Climate change poses the greatest threat to the most vulnerable, particularly women and girls, who are often the ones contributing the least to its escalation. The global climate crisis affects everything and threatens our vision of a world where poverty has been overcome and people live in dignity and security. As the breadth and impact of climate emergency are expected to worsen in the coming future, we must do all of it to ensure that our actions as a part of a global, urgent, effective, and equitable response. Decades of action and impact make it clear that we need to contribute to the global movement for climate action through local to global to local advocacy, namely promoting gender equitable responses to climate change, particularly approaches to empower women and girls and lead to gender transformative outcomes. Communicating the links between policy choices and action on climate change on all other countries. Incorporating climate change across the spectrum from humanitarian assistance to long-term development. Working in partnerships with other organizations and networks.
One person can change the future of 7 billion people.
Change must start within each person.
We must not waste another day
without at least trying.
To give our next generation a better chance.
A better place to grow.
Now, we have decided to take our future.
The next generation's future in your hands.
Stop before it's too late.
Voice out. Act now. Change starts within you.